It feels weird being back on this account. I haven't been on this account in... I mean, we can check, actually. I haven't been on this account in, like, almost a month. Like, it's coming up on just, like, a straight-up month of just not playing on this account because it's... I got Diamond 2 early in the beginning of the season. And... it was... I was just like, I'm not gonna touch it. So... Season 2.5... That's not in 27 days, is it? Really? I don't think that's a good idea. Anyway, I wanted to go over the changes that they've implemented recently. Because I think they suck. I think they're terrible. I think it's stupid. Okay, so they upped Luna's damage from far away, right? So Luna now does more damage. Well, not more damage, just the same damage, but there's less of a drop off, right? So basically she can do better against flyers and hit people from far away. This does absolutely nothing for her. This literally does just nothing. At all. Like, there is no real practical implementation of this adjustment. I wouldn't even call this a buff. I would call this more of an adjustment. They don't like that. I'm not really trying right now. So, Luna's problem, or main weakness, you could say, is that she is incredibly weak to dive. Super, super weak. Whenever there's a diver and they see a Luna, they start frothing at the mouth with excitement. They're just drooling 24/7 out of Luna because she has this ice ball and it's on a 12-second cooldown, and that's pretty much her main defense against that. She can also do this, which heals herself and does more healing to her teammates. I do not believe it does more damage. Yeah, I don't think it does, because if you go body shots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right, it does not do more damage, but it does do more healing. Let's prove it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it actually might do less damage. Yeah, it does less damage. So that's awesome. So I've actually thought about this before, because I knew it was kind of worse than her regular primary. Doing this against a diver is kind of pointless. There's some point because it heals you and it can kind of save you, but not really, because most divers have a one-shot combo where they do a few moves and you die. So the healing yourself doesn't really matter. Her true power lies in that snowball, but it's incredibly hard to hit because this game is quite fast-paced and the divers are extremely versatile. I mean, you can't really expect anyone to hit this. Like, let's say this person's a Luna. Like, how are you gonna hit that? You know? How do you can't really, and if you do, it's usually gonna send you luck. Like, I can't be mad at anyone that doesn't hit it, because it's so fast, and it also comes from above most of the time. Like BP's that come from above, matches come from an off angle, Stylex that come from an off angle. Dive, specializes in coming from places you don't expect, so you're already at a disadvantage to hit that snowball.
As bad as things get, I try.
Like, and it happens a lot. You can hit it. It's definitely doable on everyone. I've hit it on pretty much everyone at least once. I think what they should do, because she's so incredibly weak to dive, is either I mean, you can buff her damage just straight up if you want. I wouldn't really mind that, because she already does really
Another
low
hit for
damage. Like,
Luna
obviously, it's a 3-tap headshot, but no one's hitting headshots as her. You know, that happens whenever it happens. It doesn't happen reliably. Her damage sucks. So you can up that if you really want. But I think a good idea would be giving her a second ice ball. 2 snowballs. I don't think that would be the worst option. It would give her some safety in missing the first one and being able to hit the second one. It would also be able to stop 2 dives at once. So if there's a Spider-Man going at you or a Magic and BP, you can try and hit both of them, or just hit once and know that you're okay if you miss one because you still have a backup. I don't think that would be the worst idea. Or make this do more healing. I wouldn't mind her Ice Arts ability doing more healing either, because it does. I don't think it's very good. I don't know the exact statistic. But here, if we get like down to 50. Like, yeah, this is like, I don't know, 20. Oh my god, that sucks. It stops too. You can't even heal yourself to full HP with that.
Right there.
And it's like, I don't know, 25, 30 healing per second. It's you can buff. What they should probably do is buff. Here's what I want to see with Luna. I want to see her Ice Arts buff to heal her faster. You don't touch the output of the healing or the damage. You don't really need it. You can, instead of buffing her primary damage, you can buff the Ice Arts damage, but leave the output healing of this alone, because I do think it's quite strong. I think it's good where it is, but I wouldn't mind it buffing the healing, but the damage, but mainly her self heal when she does this. I think it definitely needs a buff if they're going to buff her. And then secondly, I want her passive Smooth State to kick in quicker. Right now it takes about a full second for it to activate. The problem with that is I don't think it completely shuts you down. Like, I think you can get hit while you're doing it, but if you get hit before, like when you're trying to go into it, I think a lot of people's primary, like the character's primaries and abilities, they stop her from going into it. For example, if a Thor is on you, it happens a lot where a Thor goes after a Luna. So they can push her around extremely easily. They can kind of push anyone around extremely easily. But Luna has an ability that should help her get away quicker. Except the problem is it takes a whole second, and Thor, in like a half second, can charge at you with his hammer. So you should probably make her Smooth State kick in a lot quicker.
There they are.
I wouldn't, I mean, or make it in like a second mode. Maybe, yeah, I wouldn't really mind the Smooth State being a second mode and it activating instantly. So let's say, for example, we're on PS5 here, so you press triangle. Triangle doesn't do anything right now. And then let's say you press triangle or whatever, shift, I don't know, on keyboard. And then you enter this mode where you can only Smooth State, and it's fast. It's maybe a little faster. You can jump a little higher in it, but you can't shoot. You can't use any abilities. You have to switch out of that mode to do it, and then go into like normal mode where you see like this. Because right now, this Smooth State, it's really only like an aesthetic or I forget the word, but it doesn't really help you in any real combat scenario. Especially not being dived, because it takes a full second, but you die in a half second or even sooner when you're getting dived. Secondly, just give her a second snowball. I don't think one cuts it. I don't think it has ever cut it, and I don't think it's too OP. Like, I don't think the things I'm suggesting for Luna here are that strong. Because it's not like I'm saying give her more HP or buff her abilities crazily. The snowball is already incredibly hard to hit. What is the real harm a second one is going to do? I don't think that's too game-changing. I think what that does is buff her survivability a lot.
There they
And I
are.
think that's really good because Luna is... She's a very good healer, but
What do I do for an
she also
encore?
has close to zero survivability against divers.
Evil is a rejection of life.
Now,
Thus
secondly,
I
we have
regard it
Mantis.
against evil. It makes me feel good.
Mantis, I've lored on Mantis. I played a lot of her season 1 and 1.5. Her sleep is really good. I don't think you really need to touch the sleep. I think what they need to do with Mantis is buff her healing. What they should do is get rid of the longer timed healing where you can do it twice and it goes up to 16 seconds instead of just 8. They had to buff her to do that to begin with, and I don't think that is quite useful. I don't think that has any real practical impact on the game.
Hostile
I think what they
ahead.
should do is just more healing, more healing, more healing, more healing. They should make it... I don't know her healing exactly
Chinook.
right now, and I know there's a second... Like, you can slightly boost it with the second leaf, but you should be able to just boost 4 times. You know, just give as much healing as possible from whatever the output originally is.
Let me help.
And to just make the output higher. As, like, let's say, for example, it's 50 healing per second a leaf. Let's make it 50 healing, 100 healing, 150 healing. Okay, maybe that's too much, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Because her healing in the game, like when you're playing it, it's so low, it's so little, it does nothing. Like, she should...
Hostile ahead.
Mantis is in a place where she can't even be in a 2-healer setup. Because if you're in a... Let's say you have a Luna and a Mantis. You can't really rely on that Mantis to actively heal you. You need 3 healers. You need like a Luna Invis for Mantis to work. Because her healing output is just that low. Now, I know they tried to offset it with her DPS. But... And they recently buffed it.
Too fast for you.
The problem is, like... That's okay. Like, her buff was okay. Her healing is still very bad. Her damage buff, specifically, is okay.
Down.
What they need to fix now is the headshot, because it doesn't work half the time.
Double kill.
The crosshair was on her head. Not a single one of those are headshots, but if I aim above her head, headshot, headshot. My crosshair's not even on her,
Hostile ahead.
because it's like
Wow.
3rd
4 in a
person and
row.
it shoots out of a weird
Fast for
angle.
you.
So none of them really hit, so you have to like aim super high
Amazing.
for a headshot. And it sucks. I need to fix that.
Unbelievable.
So, Mantis is okay. The buff they gave her was okay. But her healing sucks. Now, they gave Adam a buff. I think this was okay. Like, I don't
But that should not stop us from trying to achieve it.
think this was the worst idea.
Destiny was not kind to you.
Double kill.
You know, this works pretty well. I think Adam's okay.
That's 3. Wow. 4 in a row.
The cosmos
Basically,
heals
each
you.
headshot you get buffs like your little
5. That's amazing.
healing ability. It doesn't buff the soul
Seal,
bond.
your soul
I don't think it does anyway.
The cosmos heals you. I have found more lost souls.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Double kill.
So, Adam's okay too. Now, what they need to do for Rocket is probably what they did for everyone else. Make his ultimate slightly harder to get. because he pumps it out rapidly, just as the healers did in Season 1. Probably adjust that a little bit. I think everything's okay with Rocket besides his ultimate happening every 30 seconds again. I think his mobility is okay as well. I know people had a problem with that, but the strat is just to jump pack near a wall and then run away. Like, that's the strat. You can't just go across to Narnia now, which I don't think you should have ever been able to. I think it's very nice to just jetpack to a wall and then run away.
More bad guys.
Invis is, I don't... Oh yeah, she got a nerf to her shield.
Even when you can't see me, I'll still
It's
make
now
you believe.
250 instead of 300. Which, I mean, it's okay, I guess. The shield is really strong. I think a lot of people underestimate this shield. This shield can block Mad's ult. It can block pretty much any ult. Like, if let's say a Wanda ult is going off, you put a shield down at the right time, you can protect like 3 people. Especially at the right angle. Yeah, they gave Cloak a buff, which is interesting because Cloak is already extremely good and extremely easy. So they buffed Cloak's damage. You now do 80 damage per second.
My time to shine.
I think they buffed
Here come the bad guys.
this ability, the light explosion ability. I think it does more healing, and I think this might do slightly less. So Dagger, I think Dagger is really good. I think the buff made her definitely, I'd say S tier,
My time to shine.
mainly because you have the invulnerability, the dark teleportation
My
ability,
time to shine.
which nullifies pretty much everything except Spider-Man's webs, because apparently his webs can just go through entire dimensions and portals and whatnot. Which is also a problem they need to address, but
Lights out.
like I think Cloak is extremely
My time
good,
to shine.
and I don't think they should really touch her anymore
Get ready.
because
Here come the bad guys.
every ability she has auto locks or is AoE. She's definitely not a 3-star. She's definitely a 1-star, but and yeah, I think the AoE of this healing might be slightly more or less. I forget which one. Oh yeah, and her daggers do more damage too. Now that I recall. Like, I think just leave Cloak alone now.
Lights out.
I think that she's extremely viable and a very solid healer. And also, I still... Another thing is that because her abilities auto-lock,
Lights out.
that she's extremely easy to just pick up and use, and also does strong
Here come the
healing.
bad guys.
I just can't recommend buffing or nerfing. My main Loki is fine too, and Jeff is okay. Like, you can probably buff Jeff's primary healing a little bit, or his bubbles. His healing is kind of dumb. It never really does enough, and his ultimate is a little meh. But I wouldn't recommend changing his ultimate. I talked about this before. They changed Rocketman's ultimate to heal. Now, it took away his creativity. As much as I didn't like playing with a Season 1 Rocket because of the other support ults were always like save the game ults and his wasn't. But now that it is, I'm happy that it heals, but at the same time, I'm sad that now the creativity of the ult is taken away. But, you know, it's a Neji's
More
problem.
bad guys. Just what we need. You lost.
Anyway, my main gripe is Luna, because I love Luna.
didn't
I almost have
always love
Lord
my
on
powers,
Luna.
but now
I think she's extremely fun to play and extremely It has a high skill ceiling. I think her hit stand primary is definitely takes a while to learn because you have to hit allies and enemies and everyone's moving around super fast and you have to really clutch up. Her ultimate is also the best ultimate in the game, but you have to use it at the right time or it's going to completely go to waste. And you just have to have really good decision making on Luna. And I also think she's very hard to play because she's very incredibly weak against a dive. So you have to have extremely good awareness and extremely good positioning, which is very challenging for people in this game. Man, there's some of the things I see. Anyway, that's just some of the reasons I love Luna Snow.
See them?
But I also just,
Right there.
overall I think she's really fun to play.
What do I do
It's
for an
just
encore?
almost impossible to play her because of how weak she is to pretty much everyone. If her team doesn't peel for her, just switch off.
I like the
Like, I'm not even joking. I don't think there's a valid reason to play Luna Snow if your team is not going to peel for you.
I put you on ice.
Because she really, if you think about it, in a real scenario in a game, she has no way to escape. This takes too long to activate. Her snowball is easily missed, and
I'm stuck.
it doesn't last
Another
that
hit for
long.
Luna Snow.
I've been frozen many times and then just trapped down a Luna and killed her again.
Double KO.
And this doesn't do any healing, and it does less damage. So if you're going to use this as a combat
There they are.
choice, then,
I put you
you're
on
just straight up doing less damage than you would as a primary. So they do need to touch Luna up. I truly believe that. I know she's an incredibly strong healer. I'm very aware of that fact. And her ultimate, like I said, is the best in the game. But I mean, if you're playing anything and you see a Luna on the enemy team, you think, okay, perfect target. If you have a Luna on your team, you think, oh, that's a great healer. Problem is, they're probably going to die a lot. So on both sides of the team, you're thinking this character is probably going to do great, but they're going to die a lot and probably die when it matters most. So upping her survivability would be
There they are.
extremely nice, and I think it would be beneficial for her character. Because I don't think, like, I'm not one of those people who think, healers should be OP or that they should be unkillable. I think they should change a lot of these ultimates to be more creative and more unique and more to their own character. I just wish that a few of them had more survivability, because they even took Mantis down to 250 HP.
And still destroy them.
That's a huge, huge, huge nerf.
I was
Huge
chosen my
nerf.
best.
Because the
Let me
Black
show you
Panther
why.
community now sees Mantis the same way they do Cloak. Because they're going to look at Mantis and think, boom, one shot. She no longer has 275, she has 250. So that means she can be within their one-shot combo range.
Double KO.
Unlike Luna, who has 275, where you need to put in a little more work.
That's 3.
Your place is at my feet.
So that's pretty scary for Mantis. And I don't think that damage buff is really going to save her.
Fast.
I don't think that the extra 10 or 5 damage, whatever, is going to do anything. This is also a stupid platform, by the way. It stops you every time. Look at this. Look at this.
My aim is true.
Like, what?
Your place is at my
Anyway.
feet.
That's about it. I think they definitely need to... I think the buffs they did, specifically for Luna, are terrible.
We are in
It's just a
front.
completely
Prepare
pointless decision, a
yourselves.
completely pointless change. And it did absolutely nothing to
Bullets
help
was
her.
my life.
And
But
they
wouldn't it be fabulous to have
need
an
to touch her
all-superhero
up
band?
again, give her a few more buffs, because right now, playing her is extremely fun,
Another hit for Luna.
but
Wow, you're
also extremely miserable.
double KO.
Compared to playing Invis, who is extremely fun, but you have
After all these years,
way more
saving
survivability.
the world still has.
And she's also a
Superpowers
primary
are
healer.
amazing. Also, the ice effects look great on stage.
And you could probably argue that Luna's the best healer in the game, but she's countered, but she's offset by having low survivability.
Another hit for Luna Snow.
I think it's too low. I just do. I think she is just, her survivability is way, way too low for how the game has progressed.
See them? Right there.
Because no one in this game really peels
Do I throw like a girl?
and does anything to protect
You
healers.
seeing stars?
I mean, if I'm playing Fang, I'm literally a bodyguard. I just stick by my healers the whole game. That's all I do. You know? And I know how rare that is. So yeah. I think overall, I know I'm a broken record right now. Every buff was decent, pretty solid, okay choice. But I don't think it was quite the damage that needed buffing. I think it was their survivability, and I don't think you find that solution in the damage. And definitely just give a lot to Luna, because Jesus Christ.